I'm Chris Carter, and this is the first of the automatic drawing series. I've decided that I will present this as a course available to active subscribers of The Artist's Journey. And this will be a work in progress as I make it. So I will make it available to you as I create it. Automatic drawing is something that I've done since early childhood. My first recollection of drawing was scribbling in telephone books. And I would draw these just lines that would curved lines usually. Hardly anything was straight. And they would be images of flying buttons or orbs, circles connected by lines, funnels, discs, bowls that were strung together almost like beads on a necklace by lines that were added after I did the button or the circle or the bowl. And I was a little frustrated by it. That's what always came out of me. I didn't know why I wasn't drawing fairies and little girls in dresses and trucks or cars or things. You know, I never was inspired to draw things, objects. I was inspired by my inner sense of motion through space. And that has continued for the 71 years that I've been alive, is that is the core of what inspires me. And along the way, I've had to learn how to draw realistically, and I've learned to enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy working in my perpetual plant journal, where I'm doing sometimes very specific, detailed botanical illustrations, sometimes looser things. But when I'm describing what drives me the most, it's the sense, the feeling of motion through space. And that space is generally kind of cosmic space. It's beyond the earth. It's the space that happens when you're looking up at a giant sky or a rainbow, and also when you're sleeping under the stars at night, or just having a thought, or going deep into your higher self, or into your imagination, or diving deeply into looking at ways to resolve a painting. So a lot of my automatic drawing happened in spurts because I rejected it. I thought, well, you know, that's not really being an artist. An artist draws things. An artist creates the illusion of three-dimensional space. I grew up in a Norman Rockwell family, or a family that viewed Norman Rockwell's art as real art. And I do too. I mean, it definitely is real art. It's quite magnificent. But what really moved me was the abstract art that I saw back in the 50s, abstract expressionism, as we dashed through those galleries in the museums in New York City. My parents often took us into New York to science museums, to parks, to art museums. They read to us all the time. We didn't have a lot of money, so we went on camping trips, which was fine with me because I love to wander and just observe nature and smell it and hear it. So my affinity with abstraction was, I thought, kind of an anchor that kept me from actually being an artist. And at the same time, I think I came into the world as more of a sculptor or sculptress, because I would gather mud and dirt and sand, and I would form it into shapes that I could feel, and I could turn and look and see the light from different aspects. And I think that that was my way of still connecting with those automatic drawings and scribbles that I did of the movement through space. Um, this is all in retrospect because those images keep coming to my mind, and I find now that I'm back to embracing automatic drawing, thanks to taking a workshop online with Tansy Hargan. I'm okay with it. Now, I've gone through stages being okay with it. When I was drawing in pubs um, during live jam sessions or open mics, and I would be, first of all, drawing either the woman who was a model who was dancing for me to the music that was being played, or then I moved on and drew the musicians as they were playing. I mean, I love movement, so I was drawing it as everybody was moving. And then I was still doing that when my mother went through the process of dying. And during that time, I found that I was experiencing something I call morning visions. And simultaneously, I found that when I was sitting listening to the music, I wanted more to draw the rhythms and the kind of the patterning, the mathematics behind the energy that I felt in the pub, of the people, of the dancers, of the musicians, of the people talking with one another. And I felt this kind of energy that was in sync with these morning visions I was having. And I started doodling instead. And I found that mostly in pencil. And I found that I was going back to my early childhood of flying saucers that were flying, not like alien flying saucers, but I mean, saucer shapes, and definitely orbs that kept coming back in, and swooping lines. And I did a whole series of those, like uh, maybe 3 sketchbooks filled with them. And for many years after that, I had quite a few solo exhibitions of these orb drawings. That was the beginning of my orb series, even though I hadn't brought it into large oil paintings or large watercolors yet. But that goes back to automatic drawing. And I will be doing examples of that too. What I'm doing more recently, and most recently, since I had my hip replacement 2 weeks ago, is I found that my brain couldn't really focus back on a lot of the things I should have been focusing on, due to a number of circumstances, um, a couple of which are very personal. And there were some upheavals that happened personally in my life, at the same time that I was getting my hip replacement. And it was very hard to focus on what I wanted to, as an artist that was diving deep into my past, into what inspires me, into the journey that I started on when I walked in the park in Paris 2 years ago. And I just couldn't get there. It was like there were brambles in the way. So I just made a lot of dots and kept connecting dots, and that I could do. And I did a lot of very linear things, which for me seemed very restricted. I was making rules, and I mean, all of that was all I could manage doing. And I did love doing it, and it was a release. But when I look at them, I don't see into myself. I see a period of time when I distracted my emotions through regimented mathematical formulas and things. I mean, I've used science and math to survive throughout my life, both as inspiration and as a crutch for getting through hard times. And I tell all of this because when you start automatic drawing, or when you do it, if you're already doing it, it can take on so many different forms. It can be in response to just the sounds you're hearing at the moment you're doing it. You can do it with your eyes closed. You can do it with your eyes open. You can do it as a call and response type of thing. You make a mark and then you respond to that mark, and then in a way that's different from, say, uh, non-automatic drawing in an abstract form. I mean, they're very similar for me. I don't know what they're like for you. So in this course, which will grow and evolve, and then when I feel like I'm at the end of that, if that's the case, I'll go back and try to put it back into a format that maybe will be more easily understood. I'm not sure, but this is what the way I have to do it, because I'm just figuring this out myself. I'm tracing it back to a lifetime of getting back to who I am through automatic drawing. And I just didn't see it this way. I didn't see it this way until recently. So I will be showing large drawings, small drawings, tedious drawings, drawings in color, drawings not in color, a kind of collaging that's also automatic drawing. But I'm going to start with some basic kinds of techniques, methods, that I hope you will adapt and change. I mean, you will make up your own rules. And um, I don't like the word rules, but I use it because it's specifically something that I want you to acknowledge and break when and if you want to. And for me, the idea of a rule is something that I learn, and I learned to understand the reason and the purpose for it. And then when I choose to break it, I know, or if I don't know, I look for why do I want to break that rule? Why is it important to me to break that rule? And that's what's important about this. That's what's important about learning rules, making up rules, and then breaking them. And you will grow far more when you look at why you're breaking the rule and give yourself credit for that. If it's for whatever reason, if it's because you're lazy and you're bored with it, that's fine. If it's because you want to know what happens if you change the rule and do it this other way, that's great. Whatever the reason is for breaking the rule, please acknowledge it and go with it. If you just stop the drawing, fine. I mean, there's some automatic drawings that I do. They could be quick. They could be hours and hours. They could be days in making. But it's that entire variation. You may go back to it for days or weeks or years or decades. You may go back and add something to it. And for me, I find that the more I'm doing the automatic drawings now and embracing them and saying, yeah, this has always been a part of me, the more I find that my other work, my studio work or my travel sketching or my super representational work or anything I do is enriched. And it becomes, I get more of the same sense that I do of being really in touch with my inner artist and my higher self. So the experience of sketching, painting, and automatic drawing all are weaving together into an extraordinary fabric that, I don't know where it will lead. I don't know what kind of exotic um dress or cape I'll make with this fabric, or wings. I mean, I don't know, but it's very exciting to me. And I'm grateful to one of our members in the artist journey, Olga, who, when I asked her what she may be interested in, why she joined the artist journey, she said she was interested in the automatic drawing. And she said that she had reverse engineered some of my drawings, which I really loved that she said that, and that she wanted to see me actually doing them. So I will be making videos for that. Now, some of them I may narrate a little bit, but most of them I don't think I can. I may write about them in text afterwards. But the idea of automatic drawing is that you're totally involved, totally at one with your hand, with your heart, with your mind, with your soul, with you're just, you've surrendered yourself to something, whatever you might call that. It's a complete surrender. It's a complete releasing of control. So even though in my mind I may be saying, oh, I'll look at it. Okay, I'll if I'm looking at it, generally if I do it with my eyes closed, and then I'll open my eyes and I'll respond to the drawing from there. I will wait until a little shape calls out to me. And then I'll do something with it. And then I'll look again, and I won't be making the kind of critical decisions I do when I'm analyzing a painting I'm trying to resolve, or I'm doing a critique for another artist, and I'm really responding to emotionally and analyzing why am I looking there? Why am I reacting this way? And, being very analytical about it from the years and years that I've been drawing and sketching and exploring composition and design and value and color and, color schemes and all of those things. When it comes to automatic painting or drawing, I'm not thinking of any of those things. I'm not worried about whether the design is strong or the colors work together. I'm responding intuitively with all the knowledge and the experience I've gained, but I'm not really allowing myself to think about it, because when I think about it, it breaks the connection with my higher self, with my inner artist. So some of these are going to be, well, they're going to be very long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make real-time videos of them, and then I will give you a very sped up video. And then I believe, depending on how I can figure out the way that I'm filming it, I hope that you will be able to speed it up or slow it down as you wish. But you will have both versions. The real time is going to just be dreadful to watch. I will tell you that, because I'm doing it because Olga asked to see it, and I do appreciate that, and I think it's very valuable. For me, I like to see the real pace that someone works. Someone like Charles Reed, it looks like he works very quickly, and he said he worked painfully slowly. So, that was really surprising, because here I was trying to do a Charles Reed like dot to dot drawing and trying to do it quickly, and it just, didn't work very well. Well, he didn't do them quickly. But back then we didn't have a whole lot of video, and we just saw stills of what he did, so we didn't see him working. So this is the introduction, and I'll be as surprised as you will be in how this course unfolds. And you'll also see me like right now, I'm not going to be all dressed up and glamorous for the camera, because I'll be showing you how I work. And I think that that's valuable. If you find it valuable, great, let me know. If you don't, well, that's fine. There are plenty of glamorous people out there. I'm just not one of them. Every now and then I like to put on my eyeliner and look artsy and feel glamorous. I mean, of course I like to do that. But this, I'm at the point, I'm really at the point where this is what I have to share with you. And I want to keep sharing as much of myself as I can with those of you for whom I have something valuable to offer. And in this world of so much information, I'm perfectly okay if what I have to offer isn't what you want. My feelings are not going to be hurt. I'd rather be talking to the camera all by myself and not have anybody else listening than to think that I'm talking to thousands of people who are interested who aren't. So I think I'm getting a little ornery in my old age, and I'm rather enjoying it. So join me if you wish. And if not, I wish you the best too. Okay, this is Chris Carter, and thank you for stepping onto this journey with me. And if and when you step off, I hope you have a magnificent journey of your own. It's always there for the creating. Thank you.